I'm Emma Roodhouse. I'm a curator at Colchester and Ipswich Museums and a researcher into Constable's early years here in Suffolk.
My name's John Day. I run the East Anglian Traditional Arts Centre, and I was asked along for a really pleasant day looking at Constable country.
Stunning view, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. What's interesting is when you come here at different times of day, so like the sunset, and he also liked to paint like the sunrise, so you get a lot of views, not necessarily from the lanes but actually from the backs of different houses. So West Lodge in East Bergholt, you'll get a view of the sunrise, across the landscape. And that's something he was interested in depicting. But you've got to think as well that he's not always painting these oils directly outside. He's using lots of sketches that he'll have compiled. So the oil sketches, which are outside, but the more sort of established studio pieces will be finished off at London. So you have to kind of put all the oil sketches and the preparatory drawings together to form a whole picture, really.
There are certain pictures, like the boat building at Flatford, that was done from life, but I think the majority are probably done in the studio.
But was he unique in the way he worked in terms of working up a landscape to the final piece?
At that period he was.
Yeah.
He was the first to do a full-size sketch of a finished picture, hence the 6-foot sketches for the 6-foot finished pictures which went to the Academy. There's quite a number of those.
Oh, there's the geese.
Oh, yeah. Field of Greylag geese.
The winter visitors.
He was keen on realism in terms of making sure things are actually depicted as how they were.
He was up to a certain point, but he did use artistic license, and hence a lot of his paintings are just called a navigable river rather than a view at Dedham on the Loch. He didn't commit himself terribly often. I think people criticised that some of his viewpoints were not strictly accurate from a topographic point of view, so he got that. Many of his pictures are Summerland, they're just general titles, so that he can't be accused of not being topographically accurate.
He was also fighting against the traditions, in the sense of, the romantic landscapes that you should paint are, at the time were like the Lake District, and this wasn't the quintessential location to paint. And so it wasn't until 1811 when he exhibits Dedham Vale Morning at the Royal Academy. That's the first time he's put officially, the name of the place in the title of the artwork, because before that he's putting sort of landscape or river scene, or so it isn't until 1811 that he finally declares, no, this is the location that I was born in, and that I'm painting and showing. So yeah, I think that's really interesting that it's taken that long time.
Yes, titles of pictures were amazingly vague in the early days anyway. It was usually a landscape, just generalised title. But as Emma says, they do start to having a more definite description of the place.
And then from like 1811 onwards, every time that he has a work in the Royal Academy show, it's got connection to this location or the river up until about 1820s, late sort of 23. So, it becomes a regular subject matter to submit. So I think you can get yourself into all kinds of knots if you want to say that's the exact location of, you can kind of roughly work out.
You can probably say it's this part of the River Stour.
Yeah, and it's more about the fact that the location and the landscape gave him the inspiration and the subject matter. It's not necessarily that he's just reproducing a strict view of the river. So
the landscape contains all the ingredients, just not necessarily in the order they were in at the time.
No, exactly. If he's in London in the 20s, in the 1820s, he's not. He's using all of that foundation when he was from a young boy walking the fields, right up until when he moves to London. That's all in his work. It's all part of the final pictures. So, yeah, here comes the rain again.